Are you prepared for life after 60? Do you know who will truly stand by your side when life takes unexpected turns? Many of us assume that family and friends will always be there for us. But the reality is, as we age, things change. Priorities shift, people get busy, and suddenly, you may find yourself facing challenges alone. In this video, we're going to explore 6 essential pillars that become more dependable than family as you get older. These pillars provide the security and independence you need to navigate life's challenges with confidence. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to create a foundation of support that doesn't rely on anyone else's availability or ability to help. Stay tuned, because these 6 pillars might completely change the way you think about support and personal stability. You'll learn how financial stability, physical health, and emotional resilience can become your most reliable allies. You'll discover the power of maintaining a strong social circle, staying adaptable, and living with purpose. Don't miss out on these key strategies to secure your future. Watch until the end to ensure you're never caught off guard again. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Pillar 1. Your financial stability. As we journey through life, there's one truth that becomes undeniably clear. The most reliable support you'll ever have in your later years isn't found in the kindness of others. It's in your financial independence. Now, don't get me wrong. Money isn't the answer to everything. It can't buy you happiness, true love, or the kind of deep, soul-nourishing peace that comes from genuine relationships. But it does offer something profoundly essential. Security, freedom, and the kind of peace of mind that comes from knowing you can stand on your own, no matter what life throws at you. I'd argue that financial independence is the greatest gift you can give yourself as you age. The older you get, the clearer it becomes that relying on family for financial support is a risk, not a solution. And I don't say that lightly. Think about it. Your children, no matter how much they love you, no matter how deep their affection may run, have their own lives to live. They have their responsibilities, their bills, their own families to care for. I've seen it time and time again, the well-intentioned but ultimately heart-wrenching realization that, despite all the love and care, your kids may not be in a position to help when you need it the most. You've helped them build their lives, watched them graduate, cheered them on through thick and thin. But, as they start their journeys, they too face the pressures of their world. They are trying to keep their ship afloat, just as you once did. This isn't to say they don't care. On the contrary, they may feel guilty about not being able to step in as you once did for them. Life is just unpredictable. Sometimes, no matter how much they wish they could help, they simply can't. Take Richard, for example. He's a 72-year-old man, the kind of father who gave everything he had to ensure his children had the best chance in life. He'd sacrificed for them, helped them get through college, even lent them money when times got tough. His love for them was unconditional, unwavering. But when Richard suddenly found himself facing a serious health crisis, his savings were quickly wiped out. That's when he turned to his children, assuming they would be there for him, just as he had been there for them. But life had other plans. His children, struggling with their financial burdens, mortgages, bills, children to care for, simply didn't have the resources to help. It wasn't a lack of love or concern. It was just the reality of life's unpredictability. The same life that had made him such a devoted father had now made him face a hard truth. Financial independence wasn't just a luxury. It was a necessity. And that's exactly why financial stability is one of the strongest pillars you can build as you age. It's not about amassing a fortune. It's about being prepared. It's about knowing that, no matter what happens, you have the foundation to weather the storm. It's about having a plan for the unexpected, whether it's a health scare, a sudden need for home repairs, or a sudden downturn in the economy, and knowing that you can rely on yourself to navigate those challenges. So, I want you to pause and think about this, especially if you're in your 60s or beyond. Do you have enough saved to cover those unforeseen expenses? Is your retirement income secure, or is it fragile? Have you minimized any financial risks that could leave you vulnerable in your later years? If your answer is no, or if you're unsure, then the time to act is now. Don't wait until a crisis hits. Start budgeting wisely, make sure you're not burdened by unnecessary debt, and look for ways to invest in your future that will bring long-term security. I can't stress this enough. Your financial security is one of the few things in life that will always be there for you. It's not just a safety net, it's your shield, your safeguard. It's the peace of mind that no matter what challenges come your way, you'll have the strength to face them without relying on anyone else. Your financial independence is truly your most steadfast companion as you navigate the later years of your life. And, my friends, that is a gift you deserve to give yourself. Pillar 2. Your physical health. There is one undeniable truth in life that we often overlook, especially as we grow older. No amount of love, wealth, or external support can ever replace your health. When you hit your 60s, your body becomes either your greatest ally or your toughest adversary. It's a harsh truth, but it's true. No matter how secure you are financially, if your health fails you, all the money in the world can't give you the freedom you long for. At the end of the day, while your family may love and care for you, they can't exercise for you, they can't feed you the nutritious foods you need, and they certainly can't stop the inevitable effects of aging. That responsibility is yours and yours alone. So many people, especially as they enter their later years, fall into the trap of neglecting their physical health. They assume that when the time comes, someone will be there to step in, to take care of them. But the truth? The reality is harsh. Even if your family adores you, they have their own lives to lead. They have their commitments, their children, their work, and honestly, they may not have the time, the energy, or even the ability to be there for you in the way that you need. Depending on others for your well-being can strip you of your dignity and independence, leaving you feeling helpless and vulnerable. That's why, more than ever, now is the time to prioritize your health. Not tomorrow, not next month, but today. Because the investment you make in your physical health today is the most important gift you can give yourself and your future. I think about Carl, a 68-year-old man who, for most of his life, was incredibly active. He loved walking, hiking, and staying physically fit, but after retirement, he let his health take a back seat. He thought, "I'll get back to it later. I've got all the time in the world now." But life doesn't wait, does it? Before he knew it, his energy levels began to plummet, his joints ached, and simple tasks, like climbing the stairs or carrying groceries, became a monumental challenge. His children, bless their hearts, visited as much as they could, but they couldn't possibly be there every single day. And that's when Carl had a painful realization. If he wanted to keep his independence and maintain even the most basic freedoms, he had to take control of his health. He couldn't afford to wait any longer. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I want to stress this. You don't need to turn yourself into a professional athlete, but please, do something every day. Small steps make the biggest difference over time. Move your body in whatever way feels right, whether it's a short walk, a light stretch, or even dancing in your living room. Nourish your body with foods that make you feel strong and energized. And most importantly, don't ignore those warning signs, those little aches that linger, the fatigue that never quite goes away, or the stiffness that makes it hard to walk. Don't let them slide. These small signals from your body are its way of asking for help. Every time you choose a healthy meal, or take that extra step, or push yourself to exercise when you'd rather rest, you are investing in your future. Trust me, your future self will thank you for these choices. Because, at the end of the day, the most powerful ally you can have in your later years is not your children, your friends, or your spouse. It's your health. It's your strength, your ability to stay active, to move, to breathe deeply, to walk with your head held high, to be able to live life on your terms. Don't wait. Take control now. Pillar 3. Your social circle. As we age, one of the most profound and heartbreaking mistakes we can make is allowing ourselves to slip into isolation. It doesn't happen overnight. At first, it's subtle. Friends begin to move away, family members pass on, and life shifts in ways we don't always notice until one day, we look around and find our social circle shrinking to a size we never imagined. What was once a lively, vibrant network of connections becomes quieter, more distant, and, eventually, eerily silent. And that silence can become one of the most painful things to face. Loneliness, especially after the age of 60, is not just a fleeting sadness. It's a deeply ingrained emotional state that can eat away at your spirit, your well-being, and your overall health. It's more than an emotional struggle. It impacts your mind, your body, and even your lifespan. When we isolate ourselves, we cut off the support and joy that come from companionship, leaving ourselves vulnerable to depression, anxiety, and other health issues. As much as we may convince ourselves that we can handle it, the truth is that loneliness can slowly diminish our vitality. I know it's easy to assume that your family, your children especially, will always be there to provide companionship. After all, they love you, right? They're supposed to. But let's face it, your children, as much as they love you, have their own lives to live. They have jobs, they have families, they have their struggles and triumphs. They cannot, and should not, be expected to bear the sole responsibility of your emotional well-being. The burden of companionship cannot fall solely on their shoulders. We must look beyond the family unit and find support elsewhere. That's why one of the most crucial pillars of a fulfilling life in your later years is your social circle. These are the people who check in on you, the friends who still make you laugh, the acquaintances who breathe life and energy into your existence. These relationships are not a luxury or an afterthought. They are a necessity. They're what keep us grounded, connected, and vital. Without them, life becomes too lonely, too quiet. Let me share a story about someone like Margaret, a 73-year-old woman who spent much of her life relying on her family for companionship. She had 2 sons who loved her dearly, and she'd always been there for them. But as they grew older, life got in the way. They both had demanding jobs, families of their own, and suddenly, those daily phone calls and weekend visits began to dwindle. Margaret, once surrounded by love, found herself waiting for calls that didn't come as often as they used to. The house felt emptier, the silence more deafening. But Margaret didn't let herself sink into that pit of loneliness. She chose to reach out and reclaim her life. She rekindled old friendships, joined a community group, and even took up new hobbies that introduced her to people she never thought she'd meet. She took action, and it was life-changing. Her world became filled again, filled with conversations, laughter, and a renewed sense of purpose. She didn't wait for her family to save her. She saved herself. And let me tell you, there is something incredibly powerful about that kind of self-determination. When you take the reins of your own social life, you build a support system that isn't dependent on anyone else's schedule or availability. Margaret's story is a beautiful reminder that having people in your life outside of your immediate family creates a foundation of emotional strength and resilience. Whether it's a friendly neighbor, a book club, or a new group at your local gym, these connections provide us with something invaluable, a sense of belonging. And that sense of belonging is crucial as we age. It's what keeps us emotionally healthy and gives us a reason to keep showing up each day. Pillar 4. Your sense of purpose. The fourth pillar that plays a pivotal role in maintaining a fulfilling life after 60 is your sense of purpose. It's something that many overlook, yet it's one of the most critical sources of strength. As we age, we inevitably experience a shift. The roles that once defined us, being a parent, a worker, a caregiver, begin to fade. Retirement arrives, and with it, a sense of stillness. Children grow up and move out, the workplace no longer calls, and the busy pace of life slows down. In the absence of those roles, many people feel as if they've lost their place in the world. They begin to feel invisible, unnecessary, and unsure of their purpose. And that feeling, let me tell you, can be incredibly disheartening. But the truth is, no matter how much your family loves you, they cannot give you purpose. That is something you must find within yourself. Yes, family provides love and support, but they cannot provide the deeper meaning that makes life worth living. It's a responsibility we each have to ourselves, to find that spark, that drive, that reason to keep waking up each morning. Without it, we risk drifting through life, disconnected from everything that gives us joy and fulfillment. Let me tell you about George, a 70-year-old retired engineer. George had always been a busy man, consumed by his career and his family. But after he retired, he found himself facing a new, quieter life. Initially, he was thrilled at the thought of relaxation, but as the months passed, he began to feel a creeping emptiness. The phone calls from his kids were nice, but they couldn't fill the void that had emerged. George began to feel lost, as if something vital was missing. And that's when he realized he needed a sense of purpose. So, George decided to do something about it. He started volunteering at a local school, sharing his knowledge of engineering with young students. His mornings were no longer spent staring at the walls or feeling disconnected. Instead, he woke up with excitement, eager to teach and engage with the next generation. In that moment, he realized that having a purpose, no matter how small or large, was essential for his emotional and mental well-being. It wasn't about money, or fame, or accolades. It was about feeling like he mattered, like his life still had meaning. Purpose doesn't have to come from a job or career. It can stem from anything that gives you joy and keeps you engaged with the world. Whether it's learning a new skill, mentoring others, taking up gardening, or simply setting personal goals, purpose fuels your spirit. It keeps you sharp, it strengthens your emotional resilience, and it keeps you involved in life instead of becoming a passive observer. A life without purpose can feel like a life in limbo, a life waiting for something to happen. But when you choose to create your purpose, you fill your life with meaning, energy, and connection. And isn't that what life is all about? Pillar 5. Your emotional resilience. Life, with all its twists and turns, has a way of testing us, regardless of how many years we've lived. And while the passage of time brings wisdom, it also brings its own set of challenges, ones that don't disappear as we grow older. After 60, you might expect life to slow down, but in reality, it doesn't. The obstacles we face just evolve. The friendships that once brought you joy begin to fade. Loved ones, who were once a constant presence, pass on, leaving a hole in your heart that no one can truly fill. Health issues creep up, often unexpectedly, and sometimes the loneliness that was once manageable feels far more overwhelming. It's as though the world around you is constantly shifting, and you're left trying to hold on. The harsh reality is that, no matter how much love and support you receive from others, the most dependable source of strength will always come from within. The world will change, people will come and go, but your ability to process your emotions, to adapt, and to find peace amidst turmoil is what will truly keep you going. When circumstances don't go the way you imagined, when life hits you harder than expected, it's your emotional resilience that gives you the strength to keep moving forward. It's this inner fortitude that keeps you standing tall, even when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. For far too many of us, especially as we grow older, there's this belief that family will always be there to lean on, to be the emotional backbone we need. We assume that our children, our siblings, or extended family members will always be our rock, ready to offer us comfort and reassurance. And while it's true that family can provide love and support, we must face a hard truth. They, too, have their battles to fight. They are not immune to the struggles of life, and sometimes, they simply can't give us the emotional stability we yearn for. It's painful to admit, but it's crucial to understand. Relying solely on others for your emotional strength is like building your house on a shaky foundation. It will crumble when the storms of life come. That's why cultivating emotional resilience is so profoundly important. It's not about shutting out the people who care about you, but rather about finding the strength within yourself. It's about learning how to weather the storms of life without being completely dependent on someone else to hold the umbrella for you. When you build emotional resilience, you empower yourself to find your balance, to heal your wounds, and to face life's difficulties head-on. Take Helen's story, for instance, a woman I will never forget. At 75, after losing her husband of 40 years, she was devastated. The grief weighed heavily on her, and in the beginning, she turned to her children for emotional support, hoping they would be able to ease her pain. But over time, she came to a heart-wrenching realization. As much as her children loved her, they had their own families, their responsibilities. They couldn't be there for her the way she needed them to be. That realization could have crushed her. It could have made her feel even more alone, but instead, it ignited something within her. She knew that if she was ever going to heal, she would have to do it herself. Helen didn't let grief consume her. She didn't wait for someone to come along and fix her broken heart. Instead, she took charge of her healing. She joined a support group, started writing in a journal every day to process her thoughts, and most importantly, she practiced gratitude. She began to focus on the small, beautiful things in life that she had once taken for granted. And over time, she discovered something incredibly powerful. She didn't need someone else to fix her sadness. She didn't need anyone to give her permission to heal. The strength she had been searching for had always been within her. It just took her some time to realize it. Her story serves as a powerful reminder to us all. Yes, life will throw challenges our way. And yes, the people around us may not always be able to give us what we need. But the most powerful gift we can give ourselves is the ability to build emotional resilience. The inner strength to face the storms of life, to find peace within ourselves, and to heal even when the world feels like it's falling apart. Trust me, you have that strength within you too. We all do. It's not about being perfect. It's about embracing the imperfections, the heartache, and the loss, and finding the courage to rise again, stronger and more self-aware than before. Pillar 6. Your ability to adapt. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. If there's one undeniable truth about life after 60, it's this: nothing remains the same. The world, your body, and even the people around you shift in ways you can't predict. The things you once leaned on for support, your health, your career, your relationships, may start to feel less reliable. And while it can be heartbreaking to realize that everything you once knew is now evolving, the key to truly thriving in this stage of life lies in your ability to adapt. Adaptation is not just a skill, it's a lifeline. When you resist the inevitable changes that come with aging, you only create more suffering for yourself. It's those who refuse to let go of the past, who hold on too tightly to what was, that struggle the most. But those who learn to bend with the winds of change, who stay open, curious, and willing to embrace the unfamiliar, are the ones who not only survive but flourish. No matter the challenges life throws your way, it's this resilience to adapt that leads to joy, fulfillment, and a life that still feels worth living. There's this dangerous misconception that once you reach a certain age, you're locked in. That who you are, what you know, and how you live are set in stone. It's easy to fall into that mindset, the one that tells you that at 60 or 70, your days of growth are over. But, my friends, that thinking is a trap. If you close yourself off from the possibility of change, you close yourself off from the beauty that life still has to offer. I believe the most fulfilling years of life can be in your golden years, but only if you keep your heart open to new experiences, new people, and new ideas. You're never too old to learn, to evolve, or to find a new way of doing things that might make you feel more alive than you've felt in years. Let me tell you a story about Frank, a 78-year-old man who had always believed that his friendships could only thrive in person. His social life revolved around his close-knit circle of friends, many of whom had been his companions for decades. When some of them moved away or passed on, Frank found himself staring into an abyss of loneliness, feeling as though his social life was over. He thought, "I guess this is just what happens when you get older. This is my reality now." But instead of allowing himself to sink into isolation and despair, Frank decided to adapt. He learned to use video calls, something he never thought he'd be able to master, to stay connected with his distant family. He discovered online discussion groups, where his love of history gave him an immediate sense of belonging. Over time, Frank made new friends, people he never would have met had he not stepped out of his comfort zone and embraced change. He didn't let the shifting landscape of his life defeat him. Instead, he chose to grow with it. And in that process, he found connection, joy, and a renewed sense of purpose. Now, that's not to say adapting is easy. It requires a willingness to be vulnerable and sometimes even to feel foolish. But there's an undeniable magic that comes when you choose to step into the unknown with open arms, no matter how daunting it seems. I've seen people, my friends and family, hold on to old ways of thinking because they fear what's ahead. They stay stuck in a past that no longer serves them, letting it define their future. Don't make that mistake. Life, in all its unpredictability, can still be rich and full of moments that take your breath away. But only if you choose to adapt, to change, to open yourself to new opportunities. Final thoughts. Reaching the age of 60 and beyond is a milestone, one that carries the weight of experience, the wisdom gained from years of trials and triumphs. But let's not sugarcoat it. It's also a time that presents real challenges. It's the phase where you start to see that family, while precious, isn't always the rock you thought it would be. You can't expect others to be your crutch. The truth is, the most reliable support you'll ever have is the one you've built for yourself. Your financial stability isn't just about having money. It's about freeing yourself from the need to rely on others. Your physical health is not a luxury. It's the foundation of your independence and your ability to keep doing what you love. Your social circle might shrink, but it's the relationships you nurture that matter, the ones that fill your heart with love and purpose. Your sense of purpose, whether it's a new hobby, a cause you believe in, or simply the joy of being present, is what keeps you grounded. Your emotional resilience is the strength that will carry you through every hardship, teaching you to find peace even when life doesn't go according to plan. And perhaps most importantly, your ability to adapt, your capacity to evolve in the face of change, is the secret that allows you to keep finding meaning, joy, and fulfillment, no matter how old you are. Embrace it. Life is still unfolding before you, and it's waiting for you to show up, fully alive, with an open heart and an open mind. As we wrap up today's discussion, I hope you found something that resonates deeply with you. Life after 60 isn't just about managing the changes. It's about embracing them, growing with them, and finding new ways to thrive. We've talked about the importance of adaptability, resilience, and having a strong foundation in your own life. And I truly believe these elements can transform the way you experience your later years. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What have you learned so far from today's video? Is there one key takeaway that spoke to you? Something you're ready to put into practice in your own life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's keep this conversation going. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on more content that can help you live your best life, no matter your age. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.